time, a dish with D. That's me. Time for the Weight Watchers weekly meeting technique and my weigh-in for this week. Welcome to the channel. I feel like I say that every week, but welcome to the channel. Welcome to the day. Welcome to the week, because this is Monday. I filmed this actually on a Monday. Some of my other videos are pre-filmed, but this one is literally filmed today, September 8th. So happy September 8th, my lovelies. September 8th. Can you believe it's September 8th? Fall in a couple of weeks. We're still in summer, yet here I am outside with a sweater on because it's freezing. Oh my God, what a cool night last night. But you're not here to hear about my weather. You're here to hear about how I did on the scale and what the Weight Watchers weekly meeting technique is. And before we get into that, did you see there has been a Weight Watchers change? They now have what they're calling a menopause situation. If you, let me see, I'm going to see, I know I could find it here on my photos because I took a picture of it. You have to update your app, as always. You can check it in Connect. There's a Connect post called WW Official Following. It's getting hot in here. Yes, because we've got major news. And the major news is they're doing a menopause program. It is a program that you have to pay for. It is not included. There is a special 0-point food list. There's a special 0-point macros. Actually, not 0-point macro totals free. They're actually giving, it looks like they're giving you totals, which I'm a bit shocked at. And there's groups and coaching. It is a fee. It is not free. You can't even do part of it for free. You have to pay for it. And I believe you could opt to have hormone replacements. You could opt to have GLP-1s in the program. So it's a whole animal on its own, which I'm a little bit shocked that they would do something that's paid again. I feel like they're kind of floating barely, and I feel like if they would have done something. Now, granted, there is already, if you didn't check, meetings on the app that are geared to menopause. So those will still be there. Not as often as I would like. If you go under where the little picture is on the upper left and you pull it down, if you go down under Discover, there says WW for Menopause. It has new, it's pink. So if your app isn't updated, you won't have it, but you could check it. There's a quiz to take. It gives you all this stuff. Honestly, I was interested up until I realized there was like medications again and an extra fee. Honestly, I've thought about hormones. I have been thinking about that, but I'm not going to have Weight Watchers tell me about that. No, I'm going to go to my gynecologist to get the proper blood work done. See the person in person, have her look at me and ask the right questions. So that's just my, but I guess I'm not against it. I'm against them doing it. Again, I feel like it's so virtual. I like the in-person contact. So just my opinion, take it or leave it. If you're thinking you need help with menopause symptoms and you're, like I feel that's where I'm at now, but we'll see, because I never had issues up until the last couple of years. And I feel like that could be my thing, but we don't know. But I'd rather go to my gynecologist in person and talk to her, and have that discussion. I don't want to have that discussion with Weight Watchers. So I'm a little bit disappointed that I thought it was more like, tips and tricks. And I like the idea of the food list that they have. I like the idea of, the 0-point foods changing, because when your body changes, things do change. I like that. But again, do you get that benefit without joining? I don't know. I don't know much about it yet. There is I believe a Zoom on it tomorrow, Tuesday. I think it's at 7. Of course, I will not be home, but there is. So if you don't have meetings, you won't be able to. I don't know. Sometimes the special ones, the people who have app only can get on to that. Not sure, but I'm just a little bit sad that that's. Like I said, I was hopeful that it was something just included. I'm a fool, I guess. I don't know, but that's the big news. Happy, sad, I don't know. I say I like the fact that they're addressing it, but I guess they're addressing it for a price. I mean, I like telehealth when you cannot physically get out of your house, or like there was a pandemic, we had to use telehealth. Okay, but now I'd rather go in if I can. So that's just, again, my 2 cents. You can choose it if you like. But we are going to continue with this month's, if I can pull up the photo. The September theme is reignite your routine, which I kind of like this because it's like, I think summer we all take that little like vacay from a lot of things. One of them could be our health and wellness journey or our weight loss journey. This week it's all about make quick meals. See, it says here, reignite your routines and let's back into the groove and build the habits that kept us moving. So yeah, I love this week's topic. It was funny because I was filming a breakfast this morning and I said it in the video that, oh my gosh, I'd really love, how to get quick food. And when I went and sat through the Zoom, I'm like, oh my gosh, am I having a premonition? Did I mention my weight? And I don't think I did. I was up 0.8. Not shocked. I mentioned in the live last night, I have been I've been great on plan. It's just been, again, certain foods at certain points in your life. Like for me, it seems to be gluten, which I have a gluten, I don't use the word intolerance, sensitivity right now. And it was big gluten weekend, and sodium. For some reason, I am feeling the sodium tightness, and I never felt that regularly. I would feel it occasionally, but yeah, so we need to work on that. That's and we talked about it in the live. Like I said, if you'll come to our lives, they're usually Sunday nights. Will not be this Sunday because I'll be at a winery dancing. Whole other story. But let's get into the topic because I've talked way too much. Make quick meals. I love that. I love that. It's saying, say goodbye to mealtime mayhem. This week is all about quick meals, ideas that are big on flavor and short on effort. Bon appetit. I was thinking, I mentioned it in the video. You'll probably see the vlog, I think Wednesday, about making things easier. Like I talked about oat flour this morning, and I'm like, I bought a bag of oat flour. Now I'm going to sit here and tell you, you can make oat flours out of oats. And y'all know I have tons of oats. But it's that one step, putting the oats in the thing, and that's 2 or 3 steps that honestly, there's just, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do it. If that oat flour is there, maybe I should just make it ahead of time, which would make a quick meal. But I did buy a bag because it was a special. So again, what you can get that's going to make you stay, like it could be, you're going to have to spend X amount of dollars to get things that you need at the ready. Like sometimes if you just buy chopped up vegetables, maybe then you'll eat them as opposed to like buying the whole carrots, peeling them and chopping them, buying the peppers. I mean, I'm not saying we're lazy, but at this point of our life, we just don't feel like putting out the effort. And here's the thing. If you could afford to buy these things done, I say do it. I think it's, like buying a rotisserie chicken. Chicken is already cooked. No harm in that. Some places now sell it already shredded for you. Mostly it's white meat though. I don't think I've ever seen a shredded with dark meat chicken. Even though it's 0 points now, it doesn't matter. But I've only ever seen the white meat. Costco has it. I know Sam's has it. I know Aldi has shredded chicken. Your regular grocery has shredded. It's like, it's just chicken. Again, if that helps you, like I love having that because I feel like if you don't know, if you're in that thing where I don't know what I want or I don't feel like doing anything, having that protein ready to go, you can do a million things with it. You can make it into a quesadilla. You could put a stir fry together, which takes moments with your already prepped vegetables. You can make it into chicken salad. Oh my God, I was on a chicken salad kick forever because it was always, I always enjoyed it. Again, you have to have these things ready and accessible and quickly because, or at least for me, my attention span in the kitchen, and I've talked about this for the last, I think, year or maybe 2, definitely the last year. You've noticed it in my videos, my cooking videos have gone down because I don't feel like cooking. So I can't pretend to cook for you when I don't want to cook. And here, even if I'm cooking for the boys and stuff, luckily they're boys, and boys are really easy to cook for because they'll eat anything. You put anything in a roll, they'll eat it. So, and anything in a bowl, they'll eat it. So I have no problem with that. Like different things, but they put it a little, we'll get back to that. I feel like I'm all over the place right now. I apologize. But they're asking what's for dinner. What is your first thought when you get asked this question? What's for dinner? You have the choice of, I know exactly what I'm having. I have a few things in the freezer I can whip up. I guess I should think about dinner. Depends on what you're making. Ha ha ha. Now I can go between, I have a few things in the freezer I can whip up, or I guess I should think about dinner. Most times it's I guess I should think about dinner. But when you have a stocked pantry, fridge freezer, you can say that because, like I said, I have proteins in my freezer. I have proteins in my fridge. I have veggies in my freezer, veggies in my pantry, and veggies in my fridge. I have some things like steamable rice. I have cans of beans. I have things that cook in the, like, I love the little rice cooker. I'm telling you, that has saved me on more nights than you would know. Throw the rice in the water and walk away, and it's done in like 20 minutes. You have rice. Minimal effort. We really have to prepare for that. So little things like that, you know, you can get a wholesome meal. Like, and I think I did a whole video on, I went through the store. I think I took things that you could make quick meals out of. I'll have to look and see if I can find them. I know I went to the new ShopRite and filmed it. Like, you can go get bagged salads and you can make a meal out of that. You can go and get like frozen this, and they sell these really beautiful bowls that, like I said, having the steamed rice in the bag. Dollar store has that. You just put it in the microwave for like 2 minutes, you got rice. You know, it's not a 0 point option, but it's you know, and you can get brown rice now too. So there's a lot of things you can pull from. I know, like I said, I'm at the point in my life where I've been the Betty Crocker in the kitchen. I've been that mom and wife, and at this point, I don't want to spend that much time in the kitchen. I really don't. I have just other things, you know, life is short. Do what you enjoy. And at this point, it's like, and some people enjoy cooking. Back in the day, I did. It was very relaxing. It's relaxing, like, if I want to de-stress sometimes, of like chopping is always, that's why a lot of times, like, why don't you use a chopper? Because sometimes I just like to chop. I have to sit there and just zone out and chop. Just depends on my mood. Some days I'd be like, get that food processor out. Let me buy that pre-chopped stuff. Research tells us, as humans, we tend to take the path of least resistance. So for meals at the moment, it makes sense that we tend to choose the easiest and most convenient options, especially when busy. Having a quick meal we can rely on, can help us save and ensure that we fit in foods with a variety and points values that are in our favor. And make sure that you're liking the food that you create. Don't be eating it because it's quick. You know, and that's the thing. Find out. It's like, and that's all going to be different for everybody. Somebody be like, I wouldn't make that. And I'd be like, well, I'd make that. Some people would be like, they'd have breakfast any time of the day. I was that girl at one point, but I don't think I've had breakfast for dinner in quite a while. Because I don't even feel like breakfast at breakfast. So why would I want breakfast at dinner at this point? I am kind of burnt out on breakfast. And that's all breakfast food. It's eggs, it's pancakes, it's waffles, it's breakfast sandwiches. I did make something different today. You'll see in my vlog. And it was really good. I thought about it last night. I'm like, and when something just goes, ooh, and you want it, that's that, you know, that you want it. So I was just, you know, and like I said, it makes sense. And if you're making a meal, so you make a meal, can you freeze some of that meal? Especially if it's just you and your husband, or just you by yourself. A lot of recipes you see always make more than one portion. So yeah, make it once, it'll serve you 4 times. And there are some people that will eat, like, through meal prep, eat the same thing 4 times a day or 4 times a week. That's not me. I thought maybe I could try that. No. I like variety. I do. That's why sometimes most lunches are kind of whatever I can scavenge in the refrigerator, or leftovers and stuff, like just different things that I could put together into a different meal. And I think a fry pan, like a nice good old saute pan, is a necessity, because if I don't feel like anything, I'll just chop whatever I can find, throw it in there, throw it over some rice or some potatoes, or just as is. And I really enjoy that. Find a protein. Frozen shrimp is great to have on hand. Make sure they're cooked though. You get them uncooked, it just takes longer, but I like getting frozen cooked shrimp. Sometimes you just want something odd and you throw the shrimp in there, or make egg roll in a bowl. Usually when I am stuck, I always feel like egg roll in a bowl, but you gotta have that stuff on hand. And you can make it with so many different proteins. You can do chicken, you can do shrimp, you can do leftover pork chop. I mean, anything. Throw the egg in there, it's just fantastic. But it's just basically, we really have to force ourselves to cook, and then you're just not into it. You can go out. I mean, there's no shame in that. But if you want to, and always make sure that you make the best choices when you're out, not just getting something because, well, it's this, it's that. Even having some fun wraps, like the things you can do with a wrap, like those, 1 point La Banderitas. You could eat them like a soft taco. You could toast it up where it's all toasty. And so it's so different each way. You could air fry it, and what you can fill it with is endless. And I've been on a kick on TikTok, and I think I'm going to maybe do a little bit, maybe in a couple weeks, of watching these recipes using rice paper wraps. I can't even tell you. I went down that black hole. I was like, ridiculous. It was so, and I love rice paper, it's gluten free, and I'm like, I need to do something with this. So that's where I come in around for stuff like that. I just, oh my gosh. But yeah, what gets in your way? It's the path of resistance. It's like I said, I wanted to make something with oat flour last week, and I'm like, I don't feel like blending the oats. Then I remembered, oh, stupid, you bought a bag of oat flour. I'm like, I did. You know, it does seem like, I know, but it's like, if I had to blend the oats, I probably wouldn't have made it. You know, they say, she was saying, what's your most valuable MVP? What's your MVP of your pantry? Your most valuable pantry staple. So it should be MVPS. Your most valuable pantry staple. Could be fridge and freezer too. And for me, it's always having some sort of chicken, whether it's cooked, raw, frozen, shredded, ground chicken. Oh my gosh, the thing, just making a chicken burger sometimes and throwing some fun things in there. I had it 2 times in a row last week. I'm like, because it just was that good. I hadn't had it for a while. Veggies, canned, frozen, and fresh. There's always got to have this, because you don't know what you have on hand. The frozen's always there, canned's always there. Just rinse them off. It's fine. But I made a corn salad out of canned corn, because I had this corn. I'm like, I need to use up this corn. And I'm like, well, let's just look up. I Googled like quick canned corn salad, and Google is always your friend. And it's like add mayonnaise and yogurt. So I only had a can of, I think it was for a couple cups. So I just did a teaspoon of mayo and a teaspoon of yogurt, lime juice. There was jalapenos, probably garlic, and I think there was cheese. And I mixed it together, you know, and oh my God, the boys scarfed it down. We like this. So you just never know. You just never know what you're going to come up with what you have in your pantry, and then it boom's a hit. And I think I made it the next week because I had one more can. I'm like, let's make the corn salad. Okay. It was just, and that's how stuff happens. It just is funny. Like I said, having the vegetables, beans. Oh my gosh, canned beans. I could make, you can add them to things. You can add them to rice. We just had beans and rice the other day. Or you can make them into a dip. Like you could use the white beans. You could throw in a food processor the chickpeas. You can make a hummus. Always a great option. And of course, salad. To me, you can make a meal out of salad. Steamed rice in a bag. You can make a meal out of like putting the steamed rice on the salad. Let it cool, of course, a little bit. And this adds a little grain to your salad. Of course, I love quinoa in my salad. And having that, like I would make a batch of quinoa, keep it in the fridge, and maybe have it as a side or throw it in my lunch salad. Make a breakfast bowl out of quinoa. Instead of oats, you make it's like sometimes you're just like, wow. And it's stuff that's right there. You grab it and your food is in minutes. But remember, you have to make sure that you're liking these things. So let me know in the comment section below what your MVP pantry staple is. What is something you always have on hand? Bouillon, broth. I have been buying the packets of bone broth from Thrive Market, because sometimes you can make a batch and put it in something, or just sip it. Like sometimes you want something warm, you don't know what you want, and sometimes broth is always a good option. Getting in 10 grams of protein with a little sip there, it's always a great thing. But canned mushrooms. Garlic, yes, I use garlic. Yes, I do. Italian girl, 100% uses garlic. Why? Because every time I get garlic in the house, for some odd reason, unless I'm making something really big, it just doesn't sit well. It just always goes moldy. But the garlic never does. So, yes, your girl has her garlic on hand. Throw a spoonful of that in everything you cook, and I'm telling you, it peps up your veggies. You know, they're just certain MVPs. And chicken, that pre-cooked chicken, hard-boiled eggs, having them in the fridge. Even a snack, what am I gonna do? Hard-boiled eggs, squirt of mustard, it's like having a deviled egg. And of course, my bars, my snack mixes that I get prepackaged are always a great option. It's not, if I have to get a big bag and I have to open it, and it's just not gonna work. But a quick way to get a quick snack is always, and that's already pre-measured, prepackaged, and ready for me to go. It's just, yes, I spend more money, I do. But for me, it's worth it. And that's the thing you have to do. Is your time worth it? Is your taste buds worth it? You know, are your options worth it? Like, you have to always measure that with finance. Like, yeah, this is expensive, but is it worth it in the end if I stay on plan? Is it worth it in the end if I stay on plan and I reach my health and wellness goals? So if I'm doing things good for my health, then I'm saving bills for the medical professionals. Yes, because let's face it, you could invest a little money into your health and wellness, then you won't have to invest that money into copays to go see the doctor because of your weight. And let me tell you something, we don't like to admit that. I didn't either. That our weight causes health issues. I feel fine, but do you? Do you remember what fine felt like? Because I remember saying that to myself when I didn't realize how good felt until I felt good again. Then I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't feel good. Like because you're used to how you feel, so you think that that's good. You've just grown accustomed to it. And then when you feel good, you're like, wow. Like getting on that sleep apnea machine, I thought I was rested. I'm like, wow, this is what rested feels like. In fact, I could sit down and not pass out. I literally could not sit in my chair at all during the day, because if I did, I'd fall asleep. Now I can stay up. I'm trying to take a nap, couldn't, because I'm well rested. And again, we don't know what good feels like because we haven't felt that way. We just take this as feeling good, and it's not. You're like, oh my gosh, stop making the excuses. Oh, I can't lose weight because I can't move. That's what I hear a lot. It's all about what you eat. It's all, especially when you're at a really big weight, it's really about what you eat. I didn't move much, and it was basically watching what I ate. And then when I could move, I did. But in the beginning, it's the excuse that I can't move. That means that you just really don't want to put out the effort. You don't want to try. Food is more important than your health. So I say that because I've been there. I was that girl. I said all those things. That's why I say it. That's why I know to say it, because I was that girl. I was that girl that lied to herself. And there is a rambling from way back that I remember sitting there saying that wow, I could say this out loud, and I couldn't do that before. And it's a harsh reality that it's easier not to face it. So let me know in the comment section about how your week went. What do you think? I love this topic. I was going to do a whole video on this. Maybe I'll see if I can find that one I did at the ShopRite. See if I can link it at the end. We'll see. Because sometimes I title things weird and then I can't find them. I know. So if you see it at the end, go check it out. Or maybe I'll put it in the iCards too, so it'll pop a little eye will pop up in one of the corners. I think it's this corner. Because I'm always reversed. Because if I point this way, I think it's that way, but it's actually that way. I know. So that is it for me. Like I said, what do you think of the Weight Watchers? What do you think of that menopause plan? I was half-heartedly ready for that, and then I kind of thought, of course, it's another money-making scheme. But maybe there'll be, like I said, there is Zooms now for menopause. So I'm hoping maybe there'll be more. But I would love to see that 0-point list. Like I said, they had a snapshot. I was somewhere they had a snapshot of the grid, and it had proteins, carbs, and water, I think it was. And I feel like the protein said 93. I'm thinking, wow, that's interesting that they're putting that, and there was a grid, so you had so much of that. So it looked like it was like a midday grid of this, because kind of like the GLP-1 thing. Maybe it's on the GLP-1 page. I'll have to look. I'll do some more deep diving into that. But like I said, it just launched this morning. It just had a little bit. It's not really launched yet. It advertised it this morning. But there is like I said, on Zoom on Tuesday. So that is it for me. If you are new here, welcome. And I hit that subscribe button. Turn this here to Dish with D, where we do Weight Watchers technique once a week. Share a weight loss. Share some tips of a girl who lost 100 pounds, trying to lose another 15. It was under 10 at one point, but we're up to 15 again to get back to goal. So join me if you want to lose with me. And that is it. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in a video very soon, my lovies. Have a great rest of your week.